Hey, it's Deborah Atkinson, host of Flipping 50 TV and the Flipping 50 podcast, and I am myth busting again today. So today the question is, and it's maybe it's a myth and maybe it's not. It's a question about whether I should believe this, coming from a reader, that exercise in the fasted state is the best thing for fat burning. So here is my answer to this. And I'm gonna give you a quick one and then stick around if you want the rest of the research about this. So the quick answer is it's all very unique and individual. So whether you or whether I should exercise in a fasted state to burn more fat, that's probably two different answers. And whether I right now in this moment, I'm recording it this week, should be exercising in a fasted state in order to burn the most fat, or in a month from now, when things change a little bit for me, should I still be doing that? That's a very different answer. So only you can really answer what's working for you. And here's how to know. So if you want a little bit more information, I'm a big fan of if your body is telling you that you're hungry and you will be distracted when you go to exercise because you are hungry, you're fatigued. If you're getting that stomach growling, and I'm already hungry before I've even started, probably we know that your energy production is not going to be as high. The effort level that you put in is not going to be as high. Or another way to think of it is this. So if you're used to getting on the treadmill and running at 6 miles an hour, okay, don't worry about if that's faster or slower than you run, don't worry about it. But if you're used to doing that and now you're exercising in a fasted state, that may feel like it's really fast, like it's faster than you want to go because you just don't quite have as much energy as you need. So if that's true, you're not doing yourself any favors, because fat burning is really going to be determined by how much exercise you can do in a short period of time at a higher intensity level. And it's not about the calories burned during that exercise, like while you're watching your watch and you're doing that. It's for the hours afterward that you have an elevated metabolism because your body is doing a payback because of the extra oxygen, the extra circulation, the extra things that were going on in the muscle. That's where you get the boost in your metabolism that really, in the end, uses more fat. So it's not this 20 minutes of exercise or 30 or whatever it might be for you, but it's the hour after, or two, or three, or up to 24 hours. If you work hard in a workout, your body is doing this payback, which means, so I'm sitting here this morning, if I worked out, and I did, how about you? I'm burning more calories, even though I'm sitting, right? Not the best, than I would be had I not exercised. And if you do that repeatedly, most days of the week, or at least 3 or 4 or 5, that adds up over the course of a year. Those 23 hours after the exercise are far more important, right, and influential on your metabolism than that 20 minutes or an hour. Okay, so now let me share with you some more research. So this whole idea of exercising in a fasted state burns more fat came from, and that's what you've got to be asking, is where'd that come from? Why is that going around, right? Here's where it came from. So back in 2013, and if you will look up here, can't point backwards, when I was writing You Still Got It Girl, the After 50 Fitness Formula for Women, these studies came out. And one of them featured sumo wrestlers, like big guys, like you've seen them, like really big guys. But during this study, what they were doing is feeding them a really high calorie diet that was 50% fat. And what I want you to know is, okay, that's kind of like 3 strikes you're out, because number one, you are not, a fairly young male sumo wrestler. You are not probably seeking or trying to have a really high calorie diet if you're somebody who's concerned about exercising in a fasted state, and you're probably not having 50% fat in your diet. I'm just going to guess. But at least 2 out of 3 of those are right. You may be having a higher fat diet. But then you have to ask, am I like them enough that even makes sense for me to consider that if it's working for them, it'll work for me? And my take on that would be, I don't think so. I don't think that's enough. Okay, but what they did find in the study, in fairness, and this is in 2013, I think the study first came out, is that men who were in this status, who exercised in a fasted state in the morning after having that high calorie, high fat diet, then did burn more fat in the afternoon after the exercise than men who had breakfast first and did the same exact exercise did. All right. But shortly later that year, within months, there was another study that was done on 20 something young women. And they were fairly athletic. They all exercised already. And probably, if you know young 20 something college women, they're all concerned about being lean and, probably not eating a lot. And they tested them for exercising in a fasted state or not and found it made absolutely no difference for them. So, again, young women in their 20s, are their hormones and status similar to yours? I would say no, they are female. There's that, no gender gap. But given we've got two different, very different results, and neither one of those populations is exactly like you, it's really hard to conclude that, exercising in a fasted state is better. So I would go back to, what's the long story? You want to exercise and make it as comfortable as you possibly can. You want to make sure that you want to repeat it again, because whether we're talking about one instance, right, or you repeating it every week, several times a week for a year, and then the next year and the next year, that's far more important than just right now to get it off, right? Because if you get turned off about exercise and you don't want to repeat it, a lot of health factors come into play, and they're not good. So I would make sure that if you're distracted and you're somebody who feels like I really need something because my blood sugar levels maybe don't feel good, I don't feel like I can have as much energy out, and you're noticing some of those benchmarks, like lifting the same amount of weight that you would if you had eaten something versus fasted, you can't do it. It feels heavier if you haven't eaten, or the same speed or the same incline doesn't feel like it's the usual amount of work. It feels like more work. That's a sign you probably would do better if you eat than if you don't. I hope that's helpful. Put your comments down below and leave any questions that you've got missed, that you're wondering, should I believe this or should I not believe this? And I will give you the best science that I've got and the best background that I've had after watching women for 35 years. And I'll see you on the flip side.